right, we're on. Vlad,
Yep.
welcome. How are you doing? Or should I say, kako si?
Odlično. I'm doing pretty good. Nice introduction. You learned this Serbian phrase for how are you? So pretty good. Thanks for asking. I just came from the beach in the morning, chill Sunday. It was a bit rainy these days, but today we are gonna make the most of the sunny day in Brazil. Nice to see you again.
Nice. All right, so you said Brazil, Serbia. Give us a little bit more insight. Where are you now? Tell me a bit more.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. I remembered today that I've been here for 5 years. Next week it's gonna be exactly 5 years. But originally I'm from Serbia, proud Serbian. I love to say for myself that I'm the best ambassador of Serbia after Novak Djokovic.
Tough act to follow.
Unfortunately, sometimes we have a yeah, sometimes we have bad reputation in the world, but I like to show the people that it's not like that. But yeah, all in all, yeah, I'm born and raised and born in Serbia. Spent there my well, first 28 years of my life in lived in a few cities, graduated there, and then I got an opportunity to come to Brazil, and somehow, like how the life is, I ended up staying here. Now I even have a fiance, and as the things stand, for now, I might call Brazil home for the next decade or for the life actually.
Cool. So, what are you doing there? Tell us a bit more about what life is like there. Where are you? Sorry, where in Brazil?
Yeah, I'm currently in state which is called Espírito Santo. Brazil has states for people who do not know that. I didn't know before I came here. So this state is literally just above Rio. It's on the coastline. Um, and the city is called Vila Velha. It's connected with the capital city of this state, which is called Vitória, but technically it's one city connected with a few bridges. And right now I'm working for a global company remotely, like digital nomad, right? As we like to say these days. Marketing, I'm creating videos and doing social media, not fully, but coordinating social media for this interesting company. It started as a small startup in Switzerland for making global meetings and events multilingual. So it started with remote simultaneous interpretation, and nowadays, of course, we have AI, speech translation, captions, and all of this modern stuff that includes AI. Um, so yeah, basically that's it. And I'm doing as a side job, I do a little bit of video making here, and I was teaching English for a long time, which I'm stopping in a process of stopping teaching English at the moment because it's been a long journey. I guess it ran its course. So all in all, yeah, living this
Yeah, I
life in
feel that
Brazil.
I've taught English before. It's as enriching as it is tiring. So you're doing that now. What brought you to Brazil in the first place? What was your first move?
There's I have a friend. He discovered this place, and our company sent him here. I think it was World Cup under 17 at some point 2020 before COVID. So he was supposed to kind of do AV audiovisual setup and for our company where there were press conferences after that and remote simultaneous interpretation after the matches and so on. So he discovered this place and let's say that this company is responsible that he got here and I got here, and then after that some of our colleagues and friends came here and everybody enjoyed Brazil and we had a really nice experience. So he kept coming every year after that, and there was an opportunity for me to come as well to help him on some projects, and we came here together. Initially, the plan was to stay for 1 month, but yeah, somehow I felt it after a few days. I told him I think I would like to stay here for life, and as the life went on, I ended up staying here
So
actually.
from 1 month to 5 years, that's quite
So
the
yeah,
extension. That's excellent.
yeah, man, it was from 1 month to 1 year, and then to 2 years. I prolonged this digital nomad visa. And yeah, after COVID, we could continue working from anywhere in the world. the remote work became super popular everywhere. Now what I'm seeing it's people are coming back to office and there is a hybrid option, but not fully remote is becoming rare nowadays. But I still have it, thanks God. My life work-life balance is better with the remote work, I think. But I do miss people in the office though sometimes.
Yeah, so you said the company you work for is Swiss-based. Is that this one or a different one? Sorry, I missed that part.
It's Swiss. The headquarters is in Switzerland, but we do these online events, also on-site events, hybrid, everything all over the world, like global company, and we do have people from everywhere in the world. So this is what I like about this company, actually. It's pretty global, and I always wanted to meet new people from another country, from different cultures, so that I can better understand the world. And somehow this is something I liked from the beginning, and I'm in that kind of environment, so I'm pretty grateful for that. I'm here for in this company. I've been here for 6 years now, and I was getting like they were creating new positions for me. They recognized the potential, um, and I was making progress along the time. So it's not like I'm in the same position for 6 years. Every year or two, I get a new position where I can show more of my potential, and that's why I'm staying here.
So you're the MVP, you could say, or they might say.
No, yeah, not exactly, but actually, it's more of a how can I put that? I became like the face of the company actually because I'm in the most of the videos, like in
Yeah.
onboarding videos for internal people, for the clients, and I'm like a front face, but yeah, there are other MVPs for sure. We're running the thing behind the
And what a
scenes.
face that they get to project to the world. I approve. So what about, talk me through a regular day in your
Thanks.
life at the moment. You were talking about just at the beach today. Earlier when we spoke, you were telling me you were going to do some work later. So how's the balance, or what does it involve usually?
Yeah, so this is the best part, and this is beside my fiance that keeps me here now, is that really nice work-life balance that I found here. Basically, I get up super early. I go to sleep early and I get up early so I can make the most of the day. And then in the morning I can go for a run or for a walk next to the beach. People generally here in this state, I cannot say for all the states in Brazil, but in this state, because probably we have ocean just in our garden, let's say, in our yard. Um, they are very physically active. I think I found an information that they are the most active people in Brazil, most active state in Brazil. So I like sports. I played futsal before, and I always like to run and be physically active. And then when you go out and to walk by the beach, you see these like zillion people running, training, young, old, midlife, all kind of whatever age you can find there, and it inspires you. You want to become more active. You want to have this nice, healthy life, and people here are generally good looking. I can tell you that. So yeah, in the morning I do this walk or run. Then I start working until noon. Usually lunch in Brazil is at noon. I don't know how
Yeah.
it's in England. In Serbia, it's around 2 o'clock. Usually 1 or 2. Uh, Here it's strictly noon here in Brazil. Everything stops. They don't have officially the siesta like in Spain or Italy, but everything stops for like 2 hours, let's
Okay.
say, and then they slowly come back to work after that. And so I continue after lunch. I also have a gym nearby in the neighborhood, and then I go do a little bit of exercising. After that, I continue working because uh, part of my team is in South Africa, part of them is in Europe. So by the time they finished, then I'm on my own after that for a few hours, few more hours. So after that, I continue some admin work or some creative work that I can isolate myself a little bit and focus on that. And in the evening, um, I can do some English classes in the evening, which I'm stopping now, as I said. And I can do some courses. I can learn spend some time with my fiance as well, or visit some friends here and have a few geladas, as they say, a few cold beers. Also in Brazil, Brazil has the coldest beers in the world. They found that sweet spot between becoming ice and stay staying liquid, and you know that probably
I don't
better
know
than I do.
about better than you, but I do remember one of the beers, Antarctica. Is that one of them? I mean, yeah,
Yes,
it does what
Antarctica.
it says
Yep.
on the label, I guess. All right, so I guess we've covered some of this already. This is the part I try and get like a bit of a too long didn't listen, like a TLDR for audio. So basically just a summary or a bit of a breakdown of maybe your life highlights. So if you can try and fit it into a minute or so, just tell me, about your route to being young to where you are now. So just a little highlight if you wouldn't mind. Tough ask, I know.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually grew up in a small town in Serbia. I finished primary school there, but it was nice. We back then we had this nice childhood where we would be outside for the whole day, having some fun. Um, and it's nice actually to grow up in a small town because you are away from these dangerous things that the big city offers, or it can catch you actually. It can get to you. After that, I moved to a little bit bigger city for the high school, and I always liked to play football and futsal, so I started my futsal career there as well. And I got really nice progress over there. Ended up playing in the first Serbian futsal league with 17 or 16 years of age. So that was my highlight over there. And also, I loved my high school. All the time I say I got some I got better knowledge from my high school than I got later in the faculty because it was more practical, something that I still use nowadays. I'm just gonna give you a trivial example like blind typing or a business case of having a whatever kind of project you have. We learned that in my high school. Anyways, after that, I moved to capital city. I was going step by step, right? I moved to capital city after that, studied a bit longer than I wanted to. Our studying system is a little bit different, maybe, than the rest of the world. But at my last year, I went to Alaska with a work and travel program, and this was my like, it was an eye-opening experience for me. I worked for 4 months over there, then I traveled America a little bit, and after that, I came back to Serbia. I had to start working because I haven't finished faculties, and after that, I got to used to work. I had to study on the side as well at the same time, so I didn't have a lot of time to party and go around. And after that, I left that work. It was an American remote support company for Walmart stores. Very interesting as well. That's where I polished my English, probably. And after that, I got an opportunity to start working for this Swiss-based company. And after 1 year, I got an opportunity with them to come to Brazil, and the rest is history. So yeah, I think it was more than a
I'll let
minute,
it
but
slide. It was very interesting.
I think
It's
you'll
fine.
edit it. Yeah.
Very good.
It's interesting. It's very challenging, like to put everything
Oh,
in
of
one
course,
minute.
no doubt.
I haven't prepared that to be honest,
I might change
but
that to a
you'll edit it.
5 minute summary next time. Okay.
Two maybe.
All right. So, in addition to that, is there just offhand? Is there anything, an interesting fact you might want to share about yourself? Is there anything that most people don't know? I know you not too well, but not quite well. I know you a bit. Is there anything that I would never guess about you? An interesting fact.
Ooh, that's a good question. I started drinking with 25. That's an
You
interesting
never.
fact.
You're from Serbia and you
Yeah.
didn't drink
Yeah.
until 25.
I never got drunk or anything until
Bravo.
25. Yeah. That's interesting. And after that, it was
You made up for lost time.
I've been on both. Yeah, I made a like I've been on both sides of the coin, so I can tell you, yeah, drinking gives a little bit of fun to it, but do it how does it say the famous slogan? Drink moderately, kids.
We don't teach that in England.
Be-
Sorry.
Oh yeah, there's always ch yeah, check on the beer
Which means
cans or here
small.
in Brazil. Beba com moderação. Yeah, yeah, it's in the in those small letters that we never read.
Drink
Drink
moderately.
moderately.
Thank you. I've learned a lesson today. All right, so we met in
Yeah,
2022, I guess, in Itacaré in Brazil. I think it was there, right? What's your memory about that trip? What's your memory
correct.
about that time, that trip in
Oh
particular?
wow, that was
Mm,
an amazing
I
trip.
agree.
That was an amazing trip, mate. We actually, what's going on here where I live, the weather, it's like let's say eternal summer. It's warm all the time, but when the winter comes, here it's from July to September, let's say, it can get really rainy and it can get a bit coldish. So what I was practicing in my first 2 years or 3 years, that I would go to north of the northeast of Brazil, the famous Nordeste, because there it's always hot. It's all and the ocean is warmer there. So I went actually before I met you to watch a semi-final of Copa
Cool.
Libertadores in Rio, and then I moved to Itacaré. So yeah, this is where I met you and Ray and the other guys, and that trip was really nice. I spent there 4 or 5 days, but what I love about traveling, Brazil is not that touristy yet. Rio, of course, and some other parts that are super famous, but in Itacaré, it's kind of a hippie place, so you don't expect always a lot of foreigners there. But what I love about traveling is meeting people from all around the globe, of course, so we can exchange our experiences. We can you also kind of you can see if you can fit all kind of environments, and you can click with all kind of different people from different parts of the world. And I love to do that, and I really enjoy doing that. Um, I remember that adventure that we had when one of our friends lost his
Mm.
iPhone. So we were tracking, like we were trying to find the phone, like chasing Pokemons on that small island until midnight or late in the night. And we somehow Brazil, of course, is also famous for the
Ladrão.
thefts and pickpocketing and stuff like that. So we were sure that the guy lost it, but eventually we made it. Somebody found it, and we tried to track the phone, and after a long, long, long time, we made it. So always
It
believe
was a huge
everything is possible.
success. It was a huge
But yeah, I
success to find it
remember,
in Brazil.
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
expecting that.
I remember those memorable, yeah, nobody was expecting that, but I remember those memorable sunsets and the parties we went, and it was really good. Brazil, as you know, Brazil has this light energy and this nice mood where it looks like there's no tomorrow, and they live day by day. Even if you don't have a lot of money, or you are not well economically situated, or how can we say that? So yeah, what I love here, they find a way to be happy, even though, for example, in Serbia we would not do that. We would be like stressed and unhappy, and but then we're gonna go and get drunk and continue our life tomorrow. We're gonna have this nice party and stuff, but during the day we're not gonna be that happy as Brazilians until the weekend comes. Somehow Brazilians always find a positive side of the life. Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. That's one takeaway from Brazil, especially in South America. A lot of South American countries aren't like that, but that's a huge takeaway. They're very welcoming. You go to the beach, even if you're alone, you'll be offered a beer, play some futsal, or what do they call it? Futsal
Exactly.
alta. No,
Futebol.
alcinha.
Altinha.
Keep you ups, we call it in
Altinha.
English. Keep you up. So you
Yes.
find 10 friends, but it's amazing. Yeah, I don't think anywhere compares. So I fully approve of that. Yeah. All right. So now you're doing the remote job that you were talking about before. I obviously assume you didn't fall straight into that. And you have covered a little bit of this, but can you run through the other jobs that you've done over the years? You did talk about going to, was it Alaska and other things, but was anything else, anything in between?
Alaska,
Anything in
mate.
between
Alaska.
that sticks out?
I need to tell you a little bit about Alaska. People were like, "Why the heck are you going to Alaska, mate?" And then it was my first airplane flight. I was 23, I think, and there was that work and travel program that I discovered. And I was like, oh my God, why have I discovered this that late? If 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 I knew about this one before, I would have gone much sooner there. So we were investigating where should we go and so on, and people are go to Alaska. There you can save money. You don't have anywhere to spend it. We went in the middle of national park in Alaska. It's called
The
Denali
boonies.
National Park. May it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's very interesting. So Alaska was, I had a silly idea when I was a boy. I always wanted day daylight to last the whole day, right? And the whole night. So 24 hours if possible, so I can play. Actually, I'm not even sure that I was aware that this is going to be happening there. So I come to Alaska and all of a sudden the day is 21. Daylight is 21 hours long. And it's super cool. Like midnight, it's a sunset. 1 a.m. sunset. And then there's like something like it's not even night. It's
Dusk.
nightish for
Yeah,
3 or 4
dusky.
hours. Let's say dusk. Yeah, dusk is dusky. Yeah, it's a better word. And then everything continues. And people think it's cold, but during this summer in Alaska, it's not actually 23, 4 or 5 degrees. So it's pretty nice. And we got to see aurora
Mm.
nights, the northern lights, in the end, like in somewhere in
Beautiful.
September. The moose, I thought, mate, I thought like moose is, I don't know, like a deer or something. But when you see it, it like it's uh it escaped from Ice Age or something like that from the cartoon. It's crazy,
Huge,
so
yeah.
big, so big. So yeah, I've earned some nice money there in 3 months, where I can only dream about like of that money in Serbia during the summer. And then of course, they want you to do that. Work and travel is the name of the program. Then I went to California, Grand Canyon, also ended up in New York. But what I remember pretty well as I was there yesterday is San Diego. That was the city I would like to live in for sure. But yeah, to wrap up on Alaska, amazing experience over there. I met some cool people. Also, what I like about traveling is that the culture thing. So you could see Eskimos over there, and it's different. It's different. But then after September, I think they stay for 7, 8 months in a 20 hours long night. So it goes the other way. So it's I spoke to some young people there, and they say it's challenging and they want to escape from there. The government even offers some money for the people to go live there for at least 6 months during the year, because yeah, it's depressive, I guess, in the other on during the other part of the year.
Yeah, I think any extreme,
But it's
it's not good for you. Have you seen the movie Insomnia? Have you seen that
yeah,
movie? It's like a kind of murder mystery, I
I
guess.
think I
It's set
haven't.
up there, and it's all about this guy probably losing his mind due to 22 hours being awake, and it's quite interesting. But it sets a scene.
Crazy.
I've been to Finland, and it was quite similar there. I think I had like 4 hours of dusk or dark, but yeah,
But
it's not. I don't know. I couldn't get on
yeah.
board.
Oh, you've
Kind
seen
of
it
not
then,
as
yeah. You know
extreme
how
as
it
that,
is.
but yeah, that's the first time you're still drinking. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. What time is it? Oh, it's 3 in the morning. Oh shit, I'm at work at 6. Perfect. Yeah, can't wait.
Oops. But yeah, let me tell you just about that one. It's interesting that from the start of my career, maybe a little bit atypical for Serbian, I've always worked for foreign companies, like international companies. I've never worked for a Serbian company, which is pretty interesting. It's a rare situation. But in Alaska, I was doing like the shitty jobs, like housekeeping. I fried fish during the night, actually. Also, at some point I was working 3 jobs at the same time. Like, and there was like 24 to once I had 30 hours in raw, without like sleeping, just going from one job to another. And now when I look back to that stuff, I'm like, what? I could not do that again in my life. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. And then I ended up, do you know how is in, I don't know how is in England. In Serbia, it's not like that, or here in Brazil, like they have 7 functions instead of one waiter. In Serbia, a waiter does everything in the restaurant or in the cafe. In America, you have a busser, you have a food server, you have a food runner, you
Dishwasher.
have the waiter themselves.
bar back,
Man, like
things
so
like
many
that.
functions. So for me, that was like for one job, for one man job, they split it in so many different. It's somehow this cultural thing that everybody does their part of the job in United States. Whilst in Serbia, for example, we need to be like all around players. We need to know to do many things uh, to to responsibly do our job. Probably we need to do more than we signed for
Yeah,
in the beginning.
especially the tip culture in the
Yeah.
US. I think that it does get split around, but
Ooh,
the face of the operation, the waiter they get, they're
yeah,
heavily tipped compared to
mate.
the rest.
We arrived there to Alaska. They gave us presentation. It's called The Art of Tipping.
And what was the secret?
Mate, immediately. No, the secret is you need to
All right.
leave the tips. Because we're coming from Eastern. Okay, now we're coming from Eastern Europe. We have tips, but it's not like in America they include the tips in your bill in your check, which for us it's this is if you're satisfied you're gonna give. And normally we give tips nowadays, but it's not in America. It's kind of an
Yeah,
obligation for you to do
it's
it, you
expected. Yeah.
know, to leave the tips. So they gave us this presentation to teach us that we should we should start leaving the tips anywhere we go. Uh, and I remember I spoke to some Americans who were working there. Of course, there were a lot of people from Eastern Europe or all around the globe. But I spoke to some Americans who were the waiters or waitresses. They would earn like $30,000 in 4 months or 5 months during the season, and then they go travel around the world, mate. Asia predominantly,
Crazy,
what
isn't
they
it?
were telling me.
Yeah,
That's
it
insane.
is. It is. It's
And they get most of that money
oh yeah.
from the tips.
Yeah, I've experienced both
Crazy,
sides of that, and
crazy.
when you are doing that job, you do make a lot of money. All right, so all
Yeah,
right, so like you
exactly.
said, you're originally from Serbia. How was life growing up there? Like, what were your ambitions if you take yourself back to being a bit younger when you're growing up, maybe as a teen? What were your ambitions? What did you think you'd be doing at this time, um, at a young age?
Oh, I always dreamt being
Okay,
football player.
didn't we all?
My mate, I always thought I'm gonna be a football player. And but yeah, it was hard when I was born in '92. I don't know if you
The
heard
war,
about it.
after the war.
That there were sanctions and the war and stuff. And I think it was the highest registered inflation. One, not the highest, but top three or top five in the world. I don't know how many millions percent of inflation. So basically, my parents would earn their salary they're gonna get it in the morning, and in the afternoon you can buy one egg. Like
Crazy.
that was the situation when I was born. And now imagine having a child, you know, in this kind of economic environment. Nowadays we're measuring, do you have money for this, for that, and they haven't gotten money to eat, and they were raising children. So there I see that generation as literally as heroes,
Mm.
unsung heroes. I don't know how they pull it out. Mostly probably because we had some grandparents somewhere in the villages. Back then, villages were still strong, so they can get you some, I don't know, cheese, milk, whatever, eggs and vegetables to survive. But nowadays, for example, villages are destroyed. But that's a whole another story. Anyway, then I started going to primary school, and there was a NATO bombing, which is nowadays when I grew up, NATO bombed Serbia because like we kind of had a police military intervention in Kosovo, but it's a whole another political. I don't want to enter that, but still, I'm gonna say nowadays, as I'm almost 34 in a few months, I realized and I read and I investigated that NATO is like kind of defensive organization. They cannot attack, and we haven't attacked anybody in NATO that moment. It was our own country, our own piece of country, which still is by constitution, and then they declared the independence with the help of Americans and so on. But anyways, and they now kind of admitted that in several interviews, some of these high officials and so on. But basically, I started going to school and bombs start flying above our heads. So we had to enter the basements, and it's crazy, man. It's what Novak Djokovic is speaking about how it was for him to train. It was also for us. So Ever since I started, our country was like in some kind of mess. But then it stabilized a little bit around 2007, 8. But for example, when there was a good prime minister who was supposed to finally organize our country and we become uh, a real European organized and he was supposed to tidy up the mess. What happens because of these like criminal groups that we had in 90s because of the war and all of that? I think it was kind of connected with the government, but they killed the prime minister who was supposed to be the motor of all of these changes. And after that, we had a good 10 years, and yeah, it's always some kind of mess. But about my childhood, I think it was, except for these bombs that were falling for 3 months. Like we had an okay childhood. We were playing outside. We were not affected, and you know that as well. We were not affected by the mobile phones and internet and stuff. We only got that, I think,
Inshallah.
later when we were finishing our childhood. Thanks God. Thanks God. Literally, I wouldn't like to be born nowadays because yeah, you lose. Staying outside a whole day. Your mom was fighting with you to come inside of the house. Nowadays, moms fight for the children to go outside.
True.
Just you know, but it's nice to grow up in a small city. Before, I was always impressed by the in Serbia we say by the lights of the big cities. But we probably both realize that that's the happiness is not there. In big cities, you spend a lot of time in traffic. Stress is big. You probably don't eat that well. The air pollution and so on and so on. So uh, it's interesting that I'm noticing now as older I get how my initial beliefs are changing, and some of them are changing for 180 degrees, and I'm starting to feel not exactly what our parents are telling us. You'll see when you get older, but I'm changing my opinion, and I don't want these like lights of the big cities anymore. The city where I live, it's like 500,000 people. It's smaller, but I don't spend. I work remotely, but even though when I'm going somewhere, moving around, I spend like 10 minutes in Uber or 5 minutes, or it's everything is close. I have walking distance. The supermarkets, everything is like 500 meters close. So I don't spend my money, I don't spend my life and my time in these like things that in the bigger cities I would spend my life in.
Are you in the same place you
Yep.
were when I went to visit you, right? So are you still in the same apartment there, or did you move, or are you in that area?
I moved. Yeah, I moved twice after that, but I'm more or less close to that where when you visited. But also one interesting thing about me is that I moved a lot throughout the years. Like when I went to high school, I started living with in dormitory in this kind of student campus, and I lived like with 5 roommates, I think it was. But I was changing the apartments all the time, all the time, all the time. And now I came to this age, I got so tired. Like I want to buy this apartment where I am right now, or the next place I'm gonna go, I want it to be mine. I got so tired of moving around, to be honest. I don't know how you feel about it. You also travel a lot.
Yeah, I feel kind of slowing down the last 5 years or so, especially. But yeah, so it does resonate, that feeling, and the whole thing about the big smoke. Like personally, about me, I've lived in some big cities. The last one was Seoul in South Korea. You're talking like 11 million people. It's great, it functions well, but you get bogged down by the routine and a lot of the people, just the traffic, people traffic. It's a lot. So yeah, as I get older, I'm appreciating the more simple life, the community based things. So I'm definitely veering that way too. I agree with that. So take me back a little bit again, just going back to that when you were younger. Was there any pressure from your family to take a certain path, or were they quite supportive of your own decision making?
Yeah, that's interesting story. So most what I can I want this to stay as a message for everybody. Always follow your heart. Like try to listen others, and when we're younger, we're not gonna listen them that much. But it's good to get several opinions. But in the end, I think we should always be the ones who decide which path we're gonna take. Why? Because after that, when we get older, we do not regret about our life. This is where you led yourself. This was like the consequence of your choice. Um, and also, how can I put that in a simple way? We can also become because of wrong choices, or if we followed what society wanted us to become, or our parents, we can become really unhappy and grumpy, and stress and unhappiness can generate many other diseases along the way. So if we don't follow our heart, I think we can end up in a really bad place. But my family, my mom, I think she always supported me. Now I'm far away from her, so she's not happy about that and keeps complaining. But yeah, that's a tricky question. This is one of the, of course, one of the biggest challenges when you live that far away. It's like 11, 12,000 miles away, kilometers, I think, in this case. Father, so, yeah, not I don't think we had the same ideas for me in our head, but I always listen to myself in the end. And when, because of course, when you're younger, you cannot fulfill all of your ideas, maybe financially, and you cannot take the path without their support, right, of your parents. I'm speaking about studying in another city. When you come from a small town and a family which is not rich, like maybe a little bit below middle class, it's expensive for them to send you in a bigger city to study and to pay the rent and whatever. So it's a challenge, but then I found my way by getting the scholarships and having to pay the least possible amount of money that they could pay so that I can do what I wanted to do. But yeah, mom was always with me. Dad, no, not so great, not so terrible as they would say in the Chernobyl series. But what I wanted to tell you,
Sure.
one just to circle back on the small city or on Serbia as well, I think it's important to say is that after traveling, I cannot say I traveled the world, but traveling a lot, I see that the moral values that I got as a Serbian, and especially the word is very strong word. Like when we give the word, we're mostly gonna respect it. And I see that it's not like that around the world.
Your
You
word is
know,
your
people
bond.
now everything became very,
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
yeah, it is, it is. And I can see that the world became very individualistic, let's say.
Mm.
Everybody's for themselves, right? Uh, and then this part is people are becoming more and more selfish. Now I cannot say about all the nations and stuff, but this is my general impression. But I know in Serbia when I call my friends or my somebody that is who is close to me, I know I can count on them. Or I know when we agree on something, I know they're gonna come through. You know, here or everywhere, these people, maybe because we haven't grown up together or a cultural thing and stuff, I cannot count 100% the same. There are exceptions always as well, but it's not the same as back there in Serbia. And also, when I say moral values and these general values, I think we get pretty good stuff in Serbia while creating. I think we also get, because of the wars and all of these not so great situation, we become more resilient to what it would have, whatever kind of environment you put us in, we're gonna find a way to
So
survive.
you say people they do what they
So yeah,
say. They do what they say they're going to do. Nice.
yeah,
That's very simple. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
mostly.
it's
They're all of,
definitely something
oh,
undervalued. I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
it is undervalued, and you can also share your opinion with me, but if you met more nations and stuff, but what's your kind of what's your impression? How's the world nowadays? Are people
No, I
sticking to
think
their word, or it's
yeah, I
less and
feel like
less?
people are more flaky. I try and stick to like you said. I do hold that in high regard. having principles. I get people have things going on, and I try and use empathy to realize why they didn't pull through or come through. Sorry, but yeah, I think flakiness is it's becoming more apparent in people. And for me, when I see that, that's a character flaw. If somebody does it time after time, I say, you know what, maybe you're not the person I thought, and
Yeah.
it definitely affects how I judge them. And I'm not perfect. I sometimes don't come through, but it's not through lack of want. It's because something did come up, or and I do feel bad if I let people down. I think there's not much worse than wasting people's time. Without getting too philosophical or too deep. We don't have that much time. It's finite anyway, and when you're wasting somebody's, that's kind of shitty. We've all got lives, we've got jobs, other things going on. So when you abuse somebody else's, I think that's kind of a kick in the balls for me personally, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are exceptions always, as we said. But overall, yeah, that's the impression. So yeah, the Serbia gives you a nice uh, lays a nice foundation of your personality, I think, to to let you out in the world. I think wherever I went, I've never, like how third world countries, some people, we are a when I say we, I mean Serbia, we are like still a third world country, and when you go there, you can have this kind of low self-esteem, or you think you're not good enough and stuff. But um, I've never felt unequal to any nation, or I think we should always be observe ourselves as not ourselves observe each other at the same level. Then once you start speaking to somebody and you get to know them better, then you can conclude, of course, but not just because somebody's from Malaysia or Serbia or Brazil or England, or it doesn't matter, they're better or worse than other people. I think i think the bias exists a lot in the world still, unfortunately, and it would be great if this Gen Z or Gen Alpha can eliminate that maybe in the
It's
future.
definitely a lazy narrative, I think. I'm from the UK. A lot of people, they still have this ideology that we built this, and we achieved this. We didn't. Our ancestors did. They laid the foundation. And even my next thing was going to talk about language. In the UK, language proficiency, second language for natives, it's non-existent. Very rare if I meet somebody that they got beyond, first couple of years of German, French, maybe, and that's about it. And there wouldn't be a high proficiency. So I think that's kind of something huge that I see with my foreign friends, their proficiency in at least English, because we communicate via English usually, is very good. And they probably speak another language. So to have that skill set from a young age, that's huge. And that's just one example of what I see from a country like the UK, that they kind of, what would you say, they're harking back to former glories. They're resting on their laurels, and that creates
Yeah, yeah,
complacency.
yeah.
Again, without going too deep, I think that's what we're seeing now. There's a complacent West, especially in the UK. I see that firsthand. It's created a complacency. People aren't as competitive compared to European neighbours. These people can do this. They've got the skill set and the language and this and a better passport. So now we're finding this, and it's becoming a problem. So yeah, moving on to that, or on the same vein, what about language? What role would you say language proficiencies had on your life? I know you speak at least
Oh,
three
mate.
languages very
The,
well. Fill in the gaps, please.
I will tell you now that you mentioned it, you gave me a good introduction
That's what I do.
into this one. I owe at the moment, I can tell you that I owe English language everything I have
You're welcome.
achieved in my life. First of all, yeah, if I haven't spoken English, I probably would get some different place, maybe similar experiences. I don't know, but all entire my path until this moment was because of English. And God gave me talents, or universe, however you wanna. We can speak religion later, but I have talent for languages. And now that you said, I can speak English very nicely. I never went to English course or private classes. I learned at school and on the street. Same happened with Portuguese. Like I took 3 or 4 lessons. I was like, fuck you. I'm not gonna continue with this shit. I go on the street and somehow it comes to me, and so I cannot say it was my hard work, honestly, because I have this talent and that's it. It comes to me. I learn quickly, quicker than average person. I noticed that for sure, and I'm very grateful. Every day, I can tell you I'm super grateful because even though now you have the AI and yes, you can everything is localized and stuff, but having ability to speak 2 more or 3 more languages, and you are in the environment when that language where their language is spoken, you're always gonna have a better position. You're gonna have a head start comparing to the AI and stuff that it's hidden in our pocket with mobile phones. But yeah, English, because of English, I got my first job back in Serbia, which was that NCR company. I don't know if you know, they created the first cash register in the United States, if I remember well. But now it's a big company. Now they do, I think, the debit reader, the card readers, and all kind of stuff in the big supermarkets and all around the globe. But anyways, I got that job as a remote support. So I was in Serbia doing remote support for the Walmart stores, back offices for their equipment over there. So something gets wrong, they call Vlad from Serbia to explain them how to fix their printer. Amazing, really amazing technology and globalization. Also, I was fond of global. Yeah, I was fond of globalization before, but now I'm not sure anymore. I am because kind of it wipes the uniqueness and the specifics of the nations, and like the world became global village, and that's a fact. And we all got westernized, you know. So there's one culture that is kind of being I don't know if it's being imposed or we are embracing it. We like it and it's cool. I don't know, but there is one kind of culture predominantly uh, conquesting the world. Anyways, language to circle back to that one. So when I got here, for example, I also learned Portuguese. In 6 months, I could speak. I could go alone and do basic things. I cannot say that I spoke it fluently and super C2 level or whatever, but I could find myself find my way around here for whatever I needed. And you know how in Brazil it's super complicated. If you don't speak Portuguese, they don't care. Like I think they're so big at it, they don't bother to learn English. They're like, yeah, we're here. If you want, like adjust. If not, you're gonna have to find your way to speak with us. So it helped me a lot here in Brazil to create relationships with people. All kind of experiences I had, they were a bit better because I could act as a local. Like I got a treatment as a local person, not as a gringo. And we can speak about that a bit later because you know how people are perceived in South America. You're a gringo, you have 1 zillion euros or dollars on your bank account, and you spill your money around like this. So, and they sometimes, many times, I think they try to make the most of you and charge you more than it's realistic and so on and so forth. But with language, I don't enter this kind of situations anymore. There was a time, yeah, in the beginning, but now not anymore. So it helps a lot. There is also a saying, I don't know if it's a global, but you are worth the number of language you speak. It's pretty cool. Which nowadays probably is going to disappear with AI, but I think it gives you a good head start.
Yeah, most definitely. I think obviously seeing you firsthand, conversing with locals, it's and I think your appearance, you fit in quite well. So I think that gives you a huge head start as well. We should call you Vlad Nation. You blend into all of the areas.
They call me, you know how they call me here? Everybody, my best friend, she started to call me like that first, gringo falsificado. And yeah, it's like that. I
Falsificado,
Gringo
fake
falsificado.
gringo.
Yeah, I'm like fake gringo, and
Yeah,
I
wear
embraced
that.
it. I love it. It's like that because I don't know. I learned all of these slang words and stuff, and then only after you need to speak to me in Portuguese like for 10, 15 minutes, and I start making some grammar, like mistakes, so they can, but where are you from? Where, and or sometimes they think I'm, depending on the part of Brazil, they all have their dialects and accents and all that stuff. So they're like, oh, what part of Brazil are
That's
you from?
cool. So you
I was like,
obviously
I'm
you're very close.
from
Yeah,
Europe.
far east Brazil. Excellent. So talking about that,
Yeah.
what's the funniest? Give me the funniest or most memorable thing or event that's happened while you've travelled. Can you think back to anything that's sticking out quite a lot?
Man, the most memorable thing. Yeah, I spoke about Brazil, but I had some travels in Peru and Argentina for now. But I want to explore the other parts as well. But the most interesting part for me was how we were smuggled into a Boca Juniors or Juniors, how you
The
say it. Boca
Bombanera.
Juniors probably game, the famous La Bombonera, yeah, in Buenos Aires. We couldn't get a ticket. It was my godfathers were here from Serbia. They're like my second parents as well. And we were traveling around, and there was a match. Boca, it was Copa Libertadores, first group stage match, something like that. But still, we couldn't get tickets. We couldn't simply. We tried online. I even had a friend from Buenos Aires. He's an Argentinian. He tried everything. Nope, it doesn't work. And then we went. Now I forgot. I think it was called Telmo or something like that. The neighborhood. They have
San Telmo, yeah.
colorful street. Santo. I think it was like that. But anyways, our friend from Argentina, he says like, give me a few seconds. I'm gonna check in a few restaurants here because usually there are some guys who can get you into La Bombonera through some alternative ways. So the guy appears after a few like minutes and he's like, I don't know, $150 per person, no tickets. You appear at a certain time uh, where we agreed where exactly, and they're gonna take you in. And we are like, my godmother, for example, she's never been to a football match before. And imagine like her first experience going to La Bombonera, which is right one of the most famous football environments, and the oh my God, what's the name
Mm.
of the ultras, right? They're very extreme over there. And then should she stay at home or not? I'm gonna definitely try with my godfather, and she decides to go with us. So we come in front of the stadium, like maybe 700, 800 meters away from the stadium. The first group is gathering there. We see the guy from the restaurant, and we're waiting there like for, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes. We're waiting, 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 and finally he starts bringing us somewhere. So we started our journey. So he brings us to kind of a uh, parking lot behind the stadium, and he leaves us there. Some other guy takes over, and I was like, okay, now this is not gonna happen. Like this guy is just gonna tell us, I cannot get you there. Like it's a scam, and we already paid the money. You have to pay up front. So the guy's there, and we're again waiting and waiting, and there's another. We were like a group of 15 people, and there's another group coming. So there was another guy who brought another group over there. So that's 30 of us all of a sudden. And then we were waiting for some time, and then they brought us to another part where kind of there is like an entrance, but you can only enter with those
Yeah.
tap cards, some kind of you know uh, authorized access that you cannot just enter there. And we were waiting, and there's another group, and at some point, like there was 60 people around, or even more. I swear there were more people. And then we were talking to each other. Of course, a lot of gringos, the same scheme. They know this game, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I was like, are we entering here or what? Like we're staying in front. And then appears some old guy with of course, with a card. Pop, 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 tap, 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 and all of us we entered. I was like, wow, okay, I haven't expected it. And the guy who took us first from the first point, he appears and he's like, "Do you want to go to the part where there are those like the craziest fans and stuff?" And of course, I would like to because Serbia also has a crazy fan, so I wanted to
Oh, for
compare
Belgrade.
the Red Star and Partizan. And because of our godmother, we were like, okay, let's go maybe to a bit calmer part. And of course, it's risky to go there. I don't know. It's good. I think they played against some Uruguayan team or something like that. So we went to a nice sweet spot over there, and man, like the La Bombonera, it has really. They brought us there, and in the end, it all worked out. We were all excited and super happy to be there finally, and of course the choreography and all kind of stuff. La Bombonera is really unique, and the shape of the stadium and everything. And they were losing 1-0 until the end, and they turned around the result in the last 7 minutes. So the event was a complete success, even though it didn't look like that in the beginning. So the smuggling to Boca Stadium is definitely one of the coolest experiences
Very
I
cool.
had.
I used to live with a guy in Buenos Aires. I lived there for a month or 2 months. The guy I lived
Oh,
with, he was the River Plate Ultra, and that was his job. He'd sneak gringos in. He used to work 2 days a week selling tickets, and he did nothing else the rest of the week. And this guy, I'll tell you about him later, but yeah, the guy was a shitbag. Anyway,
it's
this
a
guy
scheme.
he was an awful
It's a
person.
scheme,
Yeah,
man.
just
Like,
a shit. But I lived with him for a little while, and yeah, I'll never forget him.
and also, yeah, that one of the most exciting things for me it was that I saw just shortly I saw the first defeat of Brazil against Argentina in Brazil. I don't know if you remember when Messi there was a fight at the beginning of the match, but and then Messi took all the players to the dressing room, and there was like it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and there was like a whole thing if the match is gonna start or not, and I was like, seriously, once in my life I come to Brazil, Argentina, and this is gonna happen. So after I don't know 20, 30 minutes or 1 hour, they started the match finally, and Brazil
The
lost
first
for the
one.
first time at home against Argentina, from what I understood. Yeah, and one another highlight again futsal related is when I played with Falcao. There was some like match here in my city, and I just wanted to buy a ticket to. And I don't play anymore because of my knees are out, out of order. Uh, and I just wanted to watch him. He has some kind of academy here, um, and then I saw an ad that play with Falcao, and I was like,
He's the
wow.
original
So I
one,
sent a
right? Not
message.
Radamel,
I
not
try.
the original
The
one. Yeah, the
Falk. No, no,
futsal
no,
one. Yeah.
no. This is
Okay.
the futsal one. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, man. So I sent the message, and in Brazil, everything takes time. And I was like, okay, I forgot about it. Like nobody answered to me. I was like, yeah, probably. So they all put the people from inside the organization that of course everybody wants to play with Falcao. And some guy sends me like 2 days before, hey, do you still want to participate? And man, yeah, like that was my last of it, like let's say retirement match that I'm never gonna play again futsal because I cannot. So I went to play with Falcao, man, and it was spectacular. It's like all the dreams as you can have as a futsal boy and a player that it came true. Playing with him in Brazil, one half time he played against, one half time with us. It was a dream coming true. So Brazil, I can tell you, a lot of my dreams or even things that I haven't dreamt of came true in Brazil. It's treating me really nice, I can tell
I'm
you.
glad you made the trip then. All right, excellent. So, on your travels, is there a set of beliefs or principles that you've kept along the way that served you well? You did talk about when you were younger, having that foundation. Is there anything else you could think of?
Mate, don't trust anybody. Don't easily involve yourself in situations. Don't think everybody is a friend because they're not. You know, do your do your check or your safe checks before you trust somebody with your life. Especially like if you go in some distant places where you don't speak language and so on. So yeah, definitely that
Oh,
one. Don't
nice.
trust anybody.
Some wise words.
And also, yeah, and the quick one is I saw this was I don't know if you're gonna ask that one, but what message I have to send to people who
Yeah,
who
get it on.
want now who are thinking to leave their country and so on. That was an interesting one. So while you're young, I can tell you risk it. Like go, always go for it. You don't have anything to lose. You're gonna lose a few years maybe of working some shitty job or internship, but the experience you're gonna get traveling is invaluable for your life. I don't know how it's in the rest of the world, but there is something, and I know you English guys, you know that one as well. There is something that we call in Serbia, it's a street faculty, street life faculty, which that degree, that diploma, you don't get at any college. So what you can learn, fighting for yourself, doing like admin work, bureaucracy, visas, figuring out how to get to another part of the city where you don't speak language, and there are going to be many precious experiences you're going to go through, which are going to give you a skill set that is going to give you enough self-confidence to face whatever kind of challenge you get in
Yeah,
your
we
life.
call that the University of Life.
So risk
University of
it.
Life. You get your diploma, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay,
That's
excellent. Wise
the
words,
University
mate.
of Life.
What has been your favorite period of your life? Your fiance is listening intently, but yeah, discounting that, obviously, or including, what's been your favorite part?
I can tell you, I lived a really nice part of my life in high school. Um, I got a lot of good friends from that city. I got a good knowledge from high school that I'm still using in my everyday life. I swear to God, it can sound, what is this guy saying? But that one, um, and also I got a good uh, progress in my futsal career back then. I was dreaming big, um, and Brazil, of course, Brazil changed a lot in my life. Also, what Brazil is teaching me here, we in Serbia we are very impatient. We are very nervous people, very stressed. Here everything is chill. Like I'm still trying to change that, but we should find a
Tudo
sweet spot, the
amanhã,
balance. We should
amanhã,
not
não?
stress about things that are
Tomorrow, tomorrow, all
amanhã,
tomorrow.
amanhã. In Europe, it's for the
Schnell,
everything is
schnell,
right now.
schnell.
It has to be done right now. In Brazil, yeah. In Brazil, for tomorrow, it can turn like easily into 2 or 3 weeks or a month. If it's a carnival,
Oh yeah.
1 month for sure. Uh, but yeah, so mate, honestly, I loved my high school period. I loved my childhood. I would not change anything, honestly, because also Belgrade gave me a nice 10 years of life in the capital city, college studying, friends. It was amazing. Some trips as well.
Cool.
I met some amazing people that I'm still in touch, and probably some of the strongest bonds you get in high school and faculty after that. And at work, yeah, it's not always the case, but I guess we can choose more in high school and faculty. Who do we want to hang out with? Yeah. And then Brazil is life-changing for sure.
If someone was to make a movie about you, who would you like to play you? Who would be Vlad?
Wow. Oh man. I like Johnny Depp. Maybe I'm not that cool as him, but yeah, I would ask him to play me. But I'm definitely way,
If he
yeah.
wouldn't play, if you want him but he wasn't available, who do you think would play you?
Mm, I cannot
Just
think of, honestly.
Johnny Depp or nobody. Who's
Yeah,
the stars?
I like different actors, but they cannot
Ah,
play
they
me,
can't get your role down.
They cannot. It's the opposite way. They don't fit my. Yeah, Johnny Depp either, but like I would maybe in
He's a
some other
cool
life
guy.
like
I
to be
agree.
him. He's like chill. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, what does a good
chill.
life mean to you right now? Since you've been through all these different experiences and periods in your life, after that experience, what does a good life mean to you? How would you define that?
Good love relationship, good relationship with your family, beach next to your house, good food, and lots of travel, and not necessarily a lot of drinking, but yeah, some nice parties.
Final question. Would you consider yourself happy?
Yes, I consider myself happy. That's probably the reason I'm staying here. I found my happiness, and again, I'm gonna quote my godmother. She says, where I also read that somewhere as well. I need now to formulate that. Home is not where you're born. Home is where your heart feels it's home.
Yeah, in English, home
So
is where
so
the
you know
heart is. Same,
that
same sentiment, exactly the same.
yeah, same. So yeah, that's it definitely.
How do you say it in Serbian? How would
And
you
I'm
say it in
I'm happy
Serbian
here.
for anybody who wants to listen in the native tongue?
Nije gdje si se rodio, nego gdje se osjećaš kao kod kuće.
You took the words out of my mouth.
It's not where you're born, but where yeah, it's not where you're born, but where you feel at home. Yeah, literally in Serbian. But yeah, I think I'm happy. The only thing is that I'm so far away and there are not some cheap flights to Europe, but somehow I clicked with Brazil. Here it's like I call it uh, imperfectly perfect. It's a paradox place, you know, and I kind of probably because our country is also partially a mess, so I wouldn't like to live in a super organized country where everything is, you know, everything. Now, I think our mindset is that we're grown uh, to find our ways, you know, like to find our ways to make the things work. So there's always we need to mingle around the rules, or not is that we're not following the law, but you know, we always need to find our ways to get what we want, because we cannot get it that easily by the government or the setup and economical environment and so on.
Fight the power. All right, Vlad, on that note, we're
Fight
going
the
to
power.
close. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any kind of socials or any businesses you want to plug? Anything of that nature? Please go ahead now.
Yeah, I keep low profile. Also, I don't like to expose myself a lot on, like, just for a close circle of people, and I also work often on filtering my Instagram because I don't like this fact that we expose our lives to everybody, especially if our profile is public, then, you know, everybody can see where are you, what are you doing, and this modern times maybe we're old-fashioned, but I don't think that's how it should be.
Yep, keep them wanting
But yeah,
more, Vlad. There's
yeah,
value in
exactly,
scarcity, as
exactly.
they say.
You know, like they say. Exactly, they cannot destroy what they don't know it
Oh,
exists.
nice. I'm going to have to clip all of
Another
these.
one.
Got so many clips from you today. Vlad, mate, it's been incredible to catch up. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Good luck with everything, and hopefully I'll at least speak to you soon, even if I don't see you soon. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, and take care.
Thanks everyone, or anyone, for sticking around and listening all the way through. I really do appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the podcast is simply by following, subscribing, and sharing it with anyone you think would get value from it. You can also find me on all of the usual socials, as well as those of today's guest, if they want you poking around in their business. I'll leave all the links in the show notes, so feel free to head there and take a closer look at my top tier content. If you'd like to support the podcast directly, you can do that through my Buy Me a Coffee link. It genuinely helps me keep creating these incredible episodes and improve as we go along. And finally, if you're interested in working with me more directly, I also offer a travel consulting service, whether that's guidance, strategy, or help with selecting your pivot towards your new chapter. You can book a session through the link in the description. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you on the next one.